is Inside the NBA, and it's presented by Hyundai, coming your way live from Studio J in Atlanta. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. A four-game Sunday, three of them here on TNT. I mean, you expend that kind of energy in Game 1. Can you do that for an entire seven-game series, these two teams?
Are you talking about Oklahoma City?
Both teams.
Denver can.
I mean, you heard George Karl just begging his guys, don't rest in transition, rest on free throws, rest on makes. He was, you know.
Well, Denver's a much deeper team. They gonna get a big contribution from a bunch of different guys. The pressure is on Westbrook and Durant. Can they play like that 7 games in a row? And I don't think they can.
If they're hard fought and you have to make shots, because there's one thing in basketball that's not consistent, is that you're shooting. Everything else you can have consistent, your effort, your defensive, your execution, your decision making. But your shot sometimes leaves you. But Denver has more weapons to make that happen, so they would have the advantage if the series continued like this.
And you see one of the weaknesses of Oklahoma City is, if you look at all those highlights, that was a really good defense. Those guys just made shots. And like Kenny said, jump shots, they come and go. And if I'm Denver, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Kevin Durant made 2 or 3 step-back threes. You just play good defense, and as the series progresses, they've got to find a way to get some easier baskets. I said before the game, James Harden to me is that guy. Eric Maynard gave him 12 tonight. That's not enough. But James Harden is the guy to me who's their third best player. Somebody's got to step up and get them two guys.
And I think they missed Aaron Aflalo, Denver, because what he would have done, he would have moved to the point guard position on defense. So he would have been a bigger guy on Westbrook down the stretch, maybe made some tougher shots for Westbrook. You know, you had smaller guards with Lawson and Felton on them, guys he could shoot over. He feels he's comfortable.
And welcome back. They are two of the NBA's storied franchises, the Celtics and the Knicks, meeting for the 14th time in the postseason, but for just the first time in 21 years. Back in 1990, in a first-round best-of-5, the Knicks lost the first 2, then rallied to win the next 3 and KO the C's. This time around, the Celtics begin their quest for a third trip to the finals in the last 4 years, while the Knicks are back in the postseason picture for the first time since 2004. Without the contribution here, without the pass by Pierce, without the shot by Allen.
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal.
Yeah,
was
but
huge
listen, that was 2 guys. I mean, those guys, first of all, they're supposed to do that. They're going to the Hall of Fame. But Jermaine O'Neal was fantastic, and Delonte West gave him a great lift. You know, I was doing a little research on Jermaine O'Neal, and when he went out, he went to Chicago to work out with Tim Grover, who's the best trainer, I said, and he lost some weight, so he don't have as much pressure on his legs. And Doc said, I was watching the game earlier today, said he's been spectacular last week. So kudos to Jermaine for going to get Chicago, getting his legs together, and kudos to Tim Grover.
Well, I think the one thing that when you watch the Boston Celtics play is, you know, Doc Rivers said it, Ernie, he said no hero basketball, and it's really called execution. Because the guy who's supposed to get the basketball, regardless of who it is, gets it. So basketball is really simple, but it doesn't always go that way. If you're open, you take the shot. One man on you, you beat him off the dribble. If 2 guys are on you, you pass the ball. But the thing is, everyone doesn't want to fall under those guidelines. And when you don't fall under those guidelines, down the stretch, that's when it shows. The last 30 seconds of the game, when the game's on the line. You can get away with it in the third quarter, you can get away with it in the first quarter, but you cannot get away with it, and Boston lets you know that, and they make the right plays down the stretch.
Celtics win it by a deuce, 87-85. Game 2 is Tuesday.